Bubba was a 19-year-old baseball player attending a university in Jacksonville, Florida. He was in the hospital having routine surgery, Tommy John surgery, very common for baseball pitchers. It's kind of a rite of passage, getting Tommy John surgery. Surgeon told him nothing at all to worry about. Before he knew it, he would be back on the mound, throwing the ball harder than ever. Surgery would take about an hour. They wheeled Bubba into the operating room. And just as they were about to begin surgery, chaos ensued in the operating room. And the next thing he knew, Bubba was floating over his body, watching the surgeons and nurses racing around frantically. Bubba had died on the operating table, and he was watching the doctors and nurses working to save his life. They were able to save his life, revive him. Bubba had been clinically dead for about 5 minutes. And what happened during those 5 minutes was the most remarkable experience that changed his life forever. This is what is referred to as a near-death experience. Hi, welcome back to Smiles from the Soul. I'm Michelle. The term near-death experience was coined in the mid-70s. Dr. Raymond Moody wrote a book called Life After Life. He did a tremendous amount of research over many years, interviewing people that have had experiences like Bubba. In his book in 1975, he interviewed over 150 people. Now, if you think about that, that was before the internet, that was before social media, and he was still able to come up with that many people. These were people from all over the world, different languages, all different religions, some atheists, some agnostic, all of them reporting almost all the same core elements. Every experience, of course, was unique to each individual person, very different, but with the same core elements. And just about all of them, most of them. And most all of them, they report being separated from their body and being able to see their physical body there, whatever the means of death. Some of them were an accident or a heart attack, some were in surgery, some were suicide, some were accidental overdose. Of course, in each case, they lived to tell their story and tell the story of what happened while they were clinically dead. Some were in a coma for a very long period of time while they had these experiences. Most all of them report seeing a bright white light, often going through a tunnel. Sometimes they skip the tunnel, but oftentimes they're going through a tunnel and there's just this tremendous, beautiful white light. They're often greeted by deceased loved ones that are there, explaining to them what's happened, greeting them. They still have their sense of self, and they feel no attachment to their body as they're looking at it. They're totally separated from it. And they have this sense of being there before, experiencing this before, and a feeling of being home, of warmth, and the most tremendous amount of love, unconditional love from everything. They report the most beautiful landscapes with colors that words just can't describe. And that's a big part of, really, most of them, is our language is a barrier because they just don't have words to describe the beauty and the colors and everything that they see. There's almost a sense that everything around them is living, whether it's the grass or the trees. Everything is exuding love. In just about every experience, their body is whole. So there are some accounts of people that were born with blindness, and they have the perception of sight in their experience, even not ever having vision in their life, but they can perceive in their experience. And all of the senses are unbelievable. The communicating that happens during these experiences is reported as telepathic. There's just an understanding. They're having a conversation, yet they're not necessarily speaking. There's just communication back and forth. Most all of them are greeted by Jesus, or what they know as God, or a higher source, a higher power. And they just feel this tremendous unconditional love, and this feeling that they don't want to come back. Oftentimes, they're given the choice to either return or not. Many times they initially don't want to, because the place where they are is so amazing. There's love they've never felt before. Their body is whole, disease-free, pain-free, and just loved like they've never been loved before. Some do choose to come back because they feel like they have a purpose that they need to fulfill. And in just about every near-death experience, they have what is referred to as a life review. In their life review, they review basically every moment of their life over again. But in that moment, they're not just observing this. It plays out kind of like on a movie screen, but they are the observer, and they're also reliving it. But as they're reliving these moments, they're not only reliving the moment as themselves, they're reliving the moment as the person they interacted with, and they're feeling the repercussions of the interaction. So if they had a wonderful, loving experience with someone where they made someone feel wonderful, they feel how wonderful that person felt that received that. But the same is true when they spoke harsh words, or they physically harmed someone, or they just said something that was so callous, maybe they didn't even realize it, but it really affected the other person. They feel that, and often don't feel great about it. The life review is a big focus on these near-death experiences because it gives people a different perspective of the life they had lived up until that point. And very often, they choose to come back to do better. Now, while they're having these near-death experiences, time is much different. Time doesn't record like it does for us, where we live in linear time. It's just kind of hard for us to get our head around, but it's like everything is happening at once. And they get this information download. They just have a knowing of everything. Most of it they aren't able to bring back with them, but a lot they are. And they learn a lot about our connectedness, how we all are connected. And we all are children of God and a higher power, whatever you want to call it. And that we're here for joy and to live a happy life. That is what most report, that they took life too seriously, or that maybe they didn't respect their body well enough, take care of it well enough, or they weren't sharing love like they feel they should have been, and they choose to return. And every one of them that has experienced this comes back to say it changed their life forever. Some of them have had multiple near-death experiences, which is crazy. And sometimes it took them a couple of tries to finally get it right and decide, okay, this time I'm coming back and I'm going to make a difference in my life. Now, there have been millions of reported near-death experiences. Who knows why these happen or what they mean? Science would like to say that it's our brain playing tricks on us. But I don't believe that. What I'm sharing with you is a summary of many that I have watched or read about. So many stories. People in comas that were miraculously healed after being in front of God, who told them, I have a purpose for you and I need you to go back. These are the kind of conversations. It's amazing to me. Now, I don't know what any of this means. I haven't had an experience myself. And I understand that none of it means anything to us till we know for ourselves. But I do know that of all of these near-death experiences that I've read about and watched, none of them fear death anymore. They're okay when the time comes for them to pass because they feel like it's going to be a beautiful experience where there isn't pain, where they're reunited with their family and their loved ones who tell them they've been with them all along. This gives me such an amazing feeling to not feel like I have to fear death, to make me want to be a better person, be a better mother and wife, a friend, a daughter, a sister. We often take life too seriously in some respects, but it's also an opportunity to share so much love and joy that it is serious. So, if you have not ever heard of a near-death experience, you probably think I'm crazy, but do some research. There are a lot of podcasts with people sharing their experiences. There are so many. Some really wild stories. I encourage you, if you're fascinated by it, to check it out. And if nothing else, to give you that warm feeling that God is always with us. That's what he told everyone. I never left your side. And the amount of love that they reported feeling, that's comforting. And I know that I don't fear death. I don't feel very close to it, so that might change if I have a terminal illness. I don't know. I hope not. But I live with the comfort that when my loved ones do pass, I feel like they will be okay. They will be surrounded by love. And they will be with God, Jesus, higher power. And that is comforting. So again, might sound crazy, but there have been so many reported accounts that it should just get you thinking. And that's what we're here to do. Think about it a little bit more. So for now, I will just end with a question. Who did you make smile today? Thanks so much.